Hello, everyone. Stanley Kubrick, obvious genius. But what a lot of people don't realize about his movies is that there is some clear symbolism and there is some intentional incontinuities. Basically, so this is 2001, right? At 2 hours and 12 minutes and 42 seconds in, you see the astronaut. He's entered the room of the final dimension. He's about to become the Ubermensch, right? But look right here where my mouse is pointing. You see that guy? I don't know if y'all saw that, but let me play it again. Right here is a reflection of the film crew, and that guy's hand just moved right there. Okay? And what this is, Stanley Kubrick was a genius. He did not do this unintentionally. The whole of 2001 is about being conscious of consciousness. And so when he sees the monolith at the very end, it basically represents the screen itself. If you rotate the monolith, 90 degrees, it is the film screen itself, the ratio to which this was filmed in. So it's being conscious of consciousness. And so, I mean, that's just the beginning of Stanley Kubrick, right? But in The Shining, you have like a whole different kind of metaphor going on. So basically, let's see. Let's start right here. The Shining's continuity errors are actually transitions from reality to Jack the writer's imagination. And that sounds like a stretch, but there's a brilliant YouTube channel called Martin Go who explains a lot of these continuity errors as the transition from between this is reality, this scene right here, to where this is Jack Nicholson, Jack Torrance, the writer. Danny is also named Danny Lloyd, that's his name, but he's Danny Torrance in the film, so Danny and Jack have the same actor and character names, which is weird in itself. But every time the scene changes or there's some object missing, it represents the shift to Jack's consciousness. And I'll show you some more examples right here. Wait, where did it go? So like for instance, when we first see the ballroom, you see the sign is right here, right in front of the door. But when we go back, the sign is behind the door right here, and he enters here. They didn't move this sign, so that's a sign. And he's wearing the burgundy jacket, which means it's Jack the writer's imagination. Okay? And also, when the black dude, the cook, begins to shine, this is the scene when he is in the real world. You see the painting right above his bed, but when he starts to shine, the painting disappears. See up here, it's literally going below or touching that arc, and right here, there's no painting whatsoever. So this represents the time where this is reality, and this is when we enter Jack's novel, what he's creating because he's a writer looking for something to write. And when we see this scene, this is the exact moment when it's only going to be Jack's novel and it's, scary stuff and murder and all that. So this is the very last scene to where we understand that we're just trapped in Jack's novel. And, Kubrick's movies have a lot of anti-continuity. And Eyes Wide Shut, every time the newspaper is gone, when this character starts talking, every time the newspaper is gone, like right here, means he's telling a lie. And whenever the newspaper is there, it means he's telling the truth about something. Just rewatch that scene at the very end of Eyes Wide Shut. You'll see what I'm talking about. And of course, The Shining again, the chair is there at 1 second and gone the next. A lot of people want to say it's just because it's a haunted house, but it also represents, going in and out of Jack's imagination. That's the key to this horror film. And 2001, you see the sweater right here with this woman, but when she sits down, the sweater is gone. So I'm not sure if the same motive is identical between films, but I know in The Shining it's part of the story, whereas in Eyes Wide Shut it's just showing how it's the guy's lying or not. And also in 2001, it breaks the fourth wall by positioning the camera behind the visible wall itself. You see this wall behind this dude? the green, the camera is like 3 or 4 feet behind that wall in this shot, literally breaking the fourth wall once again, just like in this shot where you see the actual cameramen in the shot. It's just ridiculous. And lastly, let's see, with Kubrick, one of the most dangerous fallacies which has influenced a great deal of political and philosophical thinking is that man is essentially good and that it is society which makes him bad. Rousseau transferred original sin from man to society, and this view has importantly contributed to what I believe has been a crucially incorrect premise on which to base moral and political philosophy. Don't blame society because you're a shithead. Okay, you are responsible for your own self, and that's what A Clockwork Orange is essentially about. And I don't know if you know this, but I was watching a Clockwork Orange video the other day, and the comments were disabled and sharing it. Okay, and that's just the suppression of free speech. So I said, so now film analysis is now considered hate speech as well. Funny how this postmodern censorship is precisely what A Clockwork Orange exposes. You know, censoring society does not, better mankind. And last thing about Kubrick, in Eyes Wide Shut, the news report has a reporter called Larry Salona talk about the death of the prostitute on drugs, but that's a cover-up, right? But it's by Larry Salona right here. And what is the actual death of Kubrick? What is the reporter's name? It's Larry Salona. This is just a ridiculous. Okay? This same reporter in the Eyes Wide Shut thing talking about a fake death talks about Kubrick's death, and it's the same person. Larry Salona, Larry Salona. What the fuck is that? Is that Kubrick or Illuminati playing with this? Here's the last clue. Kubrick died 666 days before January 1st, 2001. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. He died in 1999. You do the math. It's right there. I wouldn't say something if it wasn't mathematically true. Kubrick died 666 days before the year 2001, which is his greatest film of all time. Okay? So this is not a joke, okay? This is some serious, deep film stuff. And it's just not, this is my Instagram, obviously, and it's just not feasible that people can deny it at this extent. Like, it's some deep stuff, and there's some satanic symbolism in the meantime, okay? But anyway, check out that channel. I'll put links in the description, and also check out, of course, Collative Learning, which is a brilliant channel analyzing a lot of Stanley Kubrick stuff, and The Thing, and Blade Runner, and a bunch of great films. Those two channels have renewed my respect in film right now. That's kind of what I'm studying. Y'all have a good one.